Thank you, Phil. Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Jim Himes of Connecticut. He's a key member of the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. As you know, Ukraine now says the Russian offensive on the eastern Donbas region has officially begun. Do you expect Russia to learn from its mistakes around Kyiv, the capital, take the upper hand in this new phase of this brutal war?
Yeah, I mean, the Russians are not stupid, so they will learn from the mistakes they've made. But they're in a very different situation now, Wolf, and it's important that people understand this, right? They now have much shorter supply lines. They're not nearly as extended as they were. They're now in the open. They're now in positions that they're somewhat familiar with because, of course, they've been assisting the breakaway regions of Ukraine for some time now. So everything is different. And that's why our support of the Ukrainians needs to be different as well. Critical now, and I'm glad to see that the White House, in fact, is doing this, but critical now will be heavier weaponry. They can strike the Russians at a long distance, that if the Russians do break out into the plains of eastern Ukraine, and it is all plains there, this is not the roads surrounded by woods, this is plains, that the Ukrainians can decimate those forces out in the open. So it's going to be very different. But the underlying thing here, Wolf, which I don't think has changed, and it's the sinking of the Moskva, it's the performance of their troops. This is not a high quality military. They've got massive punch, but it is not a high quality military.
Clearly, the Ukrainians in Mariupol, that major city there, they're still holding off the Russians. But this is a brutal fight that's ongoing right now. How big of a win will it be for Putin if he's able to take that key city?
Well, there's no question that it'll be a win, right? It'll close off a port to Ukraine, not of the importance of Odessa, but it will close off a port, which, by the way, has been closed. You can't obviously land cargo in a place where this kind of combat is underway. But again, it's one more thing that just shows you that despite the fact that the Russians have clear supply lines into Mariupol, they haven't been able to take the place. And a smaller, more lightly armed contingent of Ukrainians have held them off for weeks. That has, of course, meant that the Russian troops who are encircling and in Mariupol right now can't get elsewhere to wreak havoc elsewhere. So, yeah, it is a remarkable and courageous stand that the Ukrainians are making at Mariupol. And if it falls, of course, that will be a blow. But, not nearly as severe a blow as their utter failure to operate around or to take Kyiv, their utter failure to preserve the flagship of their Black Sea fleet. And so we'll need to see where it goes from there.
We shall see sooner rather than later, no doubt about that. Congressman Jim Himes, thanks as usual for joining us. Appreciate it very much. There's more.